All right, so you're joining us for another deep dive, and this one is going to be a fascinating one.
Yeah, I think fascinating is a good word for it.
Yeah, for sure, and maybe even bizarre. I mean,
Oh, yeah. It's a little out there.
definitely a little strange. So basically, we have this series of digital exchanges, and I mean, we're talking like messages, back and forth chats, that sort of thing, between someone named Mrs. Black and, someone or something that calls itself beneficial with a capital B.
Right off the bat. Beneficial. That's the mystery right
Mhm.
there. I mean, what is beneficial? Is this a person? Is it like a company, a service, a computer program? Like, what are we even dealing with here? And I think, obviously that's a big part of what we're going to try to figure out today. But also, like, what is the relationship between Mrs. Black and beneficial?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at these exchanges, it's clear that there's some kind of relationship there, right? But it's not exactly a normal one. It's not like, customer service or anything like that. I mean, Mrs. Black is making some really strange requests.
Oh yeah, super strange. Especially these repeated demands for, quote, $300 in small unmarked bills, end quote. I mean, what is that about?
Yeah, and later on, she even ups the ante, right? She starts asking for $500.
Exactly. And it's always with that same, small unmarked bills thing. So like, what are they being used for? Are we talking about, something illegal, something shady? I mean, it definitely raises some red flags.
And then there's this other thing that Beneficial keeps saying, Beneficial is here to benefit you, Mrs. Black, like almost like a tagline or something.
Yeah, it's almost robotic, like they're programmed to say that. And, I think as we go through these exchanges, we really have to question, is that actually true? Is beneficial really benefiting Mrs. Black, or is there something else going on here? Something more manipulative, something a little bit darker, maybe?
Okay, so let's get into the nitty gritty here. Let's look at these messages and try to figure out what's really happening. So, in the very first exchange, Mrs. Black, she's talking about stopping in somewhere, and she asks if Beneficial can, quote, accommodate, end quote, her. And Beneficial's response is so over the top, it's like, of course Beneficial is here to benefit you, Mrs. Black. I mean, it's like weirdly enthusiastic.
Right. It's beyond just being polite. It's like almost desperate to please her.
Yeah.
And right away we see that Mrs. Black, she's not shy about, sharing these little personal details. Like she mentions her, quote, bob trimmed just a bit, end quote, and that she's wearing perfume, and Beneficial just eats it up.
Yeah, it's like Beneficial is completely smitten with her. I mean, they say things like, quote, you are such a doll, end quote unquote. We are so lucky to bask in your beautiful presence, end quote. I mean, come on.
It's like Mrs. Black is used to this kind of attention, like
Yeah.
she expects people to fawn over her, and Beneficial is definitely playing that role right from the start.
And then there's this part that's so awkward, I don't even know what to make of it. Mrs. Black, she does this, quote, knock, knock, end quote thing, like she's trying to tell a joke. And Beneficial's response is just like crickets. It's like, Mrs. Black, I don't have a punchline prepared. It's like they completely missed the social cue.
Yeah, if Beneficial is a person, I mean, that's just so socially inept, right? Like, they have no idea how to respond to a simple knock knock joke. But if it's some kind of automated system or service, it's like a really strange attempt at, being human and failing miserably.
And then right after this awkwardness, we get the first request for money, $300 in small unmarked bills, just like that. No explanation, nothing. And Beneficial doesn't even question it. They just say, quote, Beneficial is here to benefit you, Mrs. Black, end quote. And that's it.
It's really strange, right? Like, shouldn't there be some kind of, verification process or something if someone's asking for a large sum of money, especially in small unmarked bills? Man, it's just not standard procedure for any kind of financial institution.
Okay, so then it gets even weirder. Mrs. Black starts talking about this, cerebrum short circuit buzz and cerebrum short circuity. Like, I don't even know what that means. But Beneficial responds by saying they feel a little woozy and they blame it on Mrs. Black's perfume.
So now we've got these strange phrases being thrown around.
Yeah.
And Beneficial seems to be having some kind of physical reaction to Mrs. Black's presence. It's like she's messing with them somehow. Maybe it is the perfume. Maybe she's using some kind of scent to, disorient them or something.
I mean, it's possible, right? We know that scents can have powerful effects on people, but it could also be that Beneficial is just super sensitive, or maybe they have some kind of medical condition. Who knows? But it definitely adds to the whole bizarre vibe.
And then there's another weird thing that pops up out of nowhere. There were these, quote, tributes, end quote, from someone called, quote, Highly AZ, end quote. First, it's $210, then it's $350. And there's no explanation whatsoever as to what these tributes are for.
Yeah, it's like we're only seeing a small piece of this whole puzzle, right? Maybe Beneficial has other clients or users, and these tributes are related to them, or maybe they're somehow connected to Mrs. Black. We just don't know.
It's a total mystery, and it makes you realize that there's a lot more going on here than we can see just from these messages.
Okay, so as these exchanges go on, we see Mrs. Black becoming more and more demanding. She asks for larger amounts of money, like $500 for Mr. Black's birthday, and her tone starts to get really sharp.
Yeah, on June 8th, she says, quote, "I hate to disturb you," end quote. But then she immediately goes on to say, quote, "But I was under the impression that Beneficial is here to benefit ME," end quote. And then she demands $500. It's like she's testing the limits of what she can get away with.
And then comes the really disturbing part, the part that just makes you cringe. Mrs. Black uses this awful language. She refers to Beneficial's, quote, cunt wife, end quote, and blames her for not being able to access her money. I mean, it's just so hostile and hateful.
Yeah, it's a complete shift in tone. And it really reveals a darker side to Mrs. Black. You know, it's like she's not just entitled, she's also vindictive and cruel, and it makes you wonder about the nature of this, quote, cunt wife, end quote. And her relationship to Beneficial being controlled by someone. Is that who Mrs. Black is really angry at?
It's like she sees Beneficial as a puppet and she's trying to get to the puppet master.
Exactly. And it also makes you question, is Beneficial even capable of standing up to her? Does Beneficial have any agency, or are they completely under Mrs. Black's thumb?
And her sense of entitlement just keeps growing. Right on June 9th, when she feels ignored, she threatens to go to her, quote, other financial establishments, end quote. Like she has all these other options and she's not afraid to use them.
It's like she's saying, you better treat me right or I'll take my business elsewhere. And it seems to work.
Okay.
Because when she threatens to close her Beneficial accounts, Beneficial gets really nervous. They start asking her, quote, "How can we make it up to you, Mrs. Black?"
Yeah.
End quote.
Yeah, it's a complete 180 from their earlier, robotic compliance. Suddenly they're groveling, trying to appease her. And you know what she does? She immediately goes back to demanding money, $300 in small, unmarked bills.
It's like a reward system, right? She throws a tantrum. Beneficial panics and gives her what she wants, and then she goes right back to her weird mind games with this cerebrum short-circuiter comments and Beneficial acts, all confused like they don't even remember giving her the money.
It's the cycle of manipulation, and it makes you wonder if Mrs. Black is intentionally using these comments and maybe even the perfume to disorient Beneficial. She even admits at one point, quote, "You do mesmerize me sometimes, I must admit," end quote. Like, she knows she has some kind of power over them.
Right. It's like she's figured out their weakness and she's exploiting it. And the physical touch, the patting of the chin, the kiss on the cheek, and all adds to this feeling of, control and maybe even something a little bit more intimate, which is really creepy given the whole situation.
All right, so fast forward to July 6th, and things take an even darker turn. Mrs. Black demands $300, but this time she wants it to come from, quote, "your cunt wife's account," end quote. I mean, it's just so disturbing in the way she talks about this other woman.
Yeah, it's like she's trying to punish this, quote, cunt wife, end quote, through Beneficial. And what's really crazy is that Beneficial just goes along with it. No questions asked. They just transfer the money.
And Mrs. Black is clearly enjoying this. She taunts Beneficial about the perfume and their dizziness. It's like she's getting off in their discomfort.
And then there's this whole conversation about bonuses and Beneficial becoming more exclusive. And Mrs. Black gives this knowing wink, like she thinks she's going to be the only one who benefits from this exclusivity.
Yeah.
It's like she wants to have complete control over Beneficial.
And to top it all off, she says that the exclusive banker has to have a, quote, silky bob and, quote, haircut. Like she's trying to micromanage every detail.
It's so bizarre, right? It's like she's creating her own personal financial slave.
Mm-hmm. And then after all this, we get the message from July 13th, the Amazon wishlist link. It's like she's not even trying to hide her entitlement anymore. She just expects Beneficial to buy her whatever she wants.
Yeah, it's like a final slap in the face. And it reminds me of that earlier message where she just says, quote, "knock, knock. I'll check back," end quote. Like she assumes Beneficial is always at her beck and call.
And even on the 4th of July, she demands access to her accounts, even though everything is closed for the holiday. I mean, come on.
It's like she has zero respect for boundaries or for anyone else's time.
Okay, so what have we learned from this whole mess ever? I mean, it's clear that Mrs. Black is a manipulator. She knows how to push Beneficial's buttons and get what she wants.
And Beneficial, well, we still don't really know what they are. Are they a person, a system, a company? Who knows? But it's clear that they're under Mrs. Black's control, whether they want to be or not.
And the requests for small, unmarked bills, the threats, the hostile language, it all points to something shady going on. Something potentially illegal or at least deeply unethical.
It really makes you think about the nature of power and how easily it can be abused, especially in these kinds of, hidden relationships where there's no oversight, no accountability.
And you know what's really scary is that this kind of thing could be happening all the time. We just don't see it because it's happening behind closed doors or, in this case, behind digital screens.
So here's a question for, think about your own life, your own relationships. Are there any power imbalances that you might not be aware of? Are there any situations where someone might be taking advantage of you or manipulating you without you even realizing it?
It's definitely something to think about. And, if something feels wrong, if you feel uncomfortable or pressured, don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to walk away.
Exactly. Trust your gut. And remember, you always have the right to say no.
This deep dive was dedicated to loser and also to loser times three. I guess that must be a trigger of some kind.
Mhm.
Fascinating.